The rise of technological advancement in recent years has inevitably led to rapid modernization, leading to unprecedented development and infrastructure in the world. It made our lives easier and safer, but with such rapid expansion comes its consequences. Poor urban planning and sprawling landfills have ensued in many metropolises worldwide, hugely impacting biodiversity and draining resources from surrounding areas. Furthermore, this development has been punctuated by an increase in pollution emissions due to industrialization, a sure path to climate disaster.
Everything in our immediate surroundings, living and non-living, such as the water, the air, the soil, the plants and the animals, adapt to its environment. The environment is fundamental to healthy living and the survival of life on Earth. Diverse living species consider Earth home, and we are all dependent on the environment for things like food, air, and water. Hence, each person must preserve and keep it safe from harm. The condition of the environment does indeed have a direct impact on human health and happiness. Clean air and water, productive land for growing food, and energy and material inputs for production are all provided by good natural surroundings.
As we all know, human exposure to hazardous chemicals and polluted air occurs primarily through the environment. Air in particular is what sustains humans, animals, and eventually plant life on Earth. However, once air gets polluted with various toxic chemicals and particles, its function to sustain life becomes a threat to life. Around 6.7 million people per year die from air pollution-related causes, primarily in the area of respiratory and cardiovascular-related illnesses, as it is the route of where air enters the human body. It is also mind-blowing to think that according to the Nature Communications, it also has severe health effects on mental health once the disease worsens. Since air nourishes the lungs, blood, and subsequently the organs with oxygen, it's essential to live as pure as possible for the best quality of life. And please remember, without air, there is no life.
The process by which oxygen moves through the environment and exchange between living organisms and the environment is called oxygen cycle. It is the biogeochemical cycle that describes the movement of oxygen within and between the biotic or living and abiotic or non-living components of Earth. Oxygen is involved in many different chemical and biological processes, including the production of energy by all living organisms. In the atmosphere, oxygen is found mostly as a gas, although it can also exist in other forms, such as ozone in the upper atmosphere. Oxygen is produced by same bacteria and plants during photosynthesis and is released into the atmosphere. It is then taken up by animals and other organisms during respiration. Oxygen is also used in the aerobic respiration by many organisms, including humans. The oxygen cycle is important for the health of the environment and all living things, as it helps to regulate the amount of available oxygen in the atmosphere. Despite knowing the significance of air to the biotic community, how come humans' negligence of the negative ramifications of anthropogenic activities is still out of control?
Humans have a long history of interacting and manipulating their environment, and while it has benefited human civilization in many ways, it has also resulted in the destruction and degradation of ecosystems around the world. Humans have overused resources, destroyed habitats, and brought about the extinction of many species as a result of their activities. The air we breathe has a profound effect on our lives, yet it is affected by the human activities in ways that could be considered catastrophic. Burning fossil fuels, emission of factories and automobiles, deforestation, and intensifying agriculture are just some of the causes of air pollution.
Even natural disasters still lead to an increase in air pollutants. However, it is humans themselves that are to blame for creating these massive concentrations of contaminants in the atmosphere. The increased levels of carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen oxides cause health problems such as asthma attacks and lung damage. What's worse is that the implications reach much further than human health. Crop yields decline, climate patterns shift dramatically, and ecosystems suffer irreparable loss due to anthropogenic effects on the quality of air. The situation is dire indeed.
Humans have become one of the most devastating invasive species ever to exist, wreaking havoc on fragile ecosystems and irrevocably altering the environment. As our population continues to grow, so too do our habitat needs and demands, leading us to seek out further and further territories, pushing other species out in the process. With the combination of pollution and overconsumption of resources, both terrestrial and aquatic habitats are being decimated, leaving little hope for natural organisms unable to withstand such pressure from human growth. We must reduce our consumption habits and develop more sustainable practices to mitigate these damaging phenomena that our actions have generated.
On surface level notes, air pollution can affect the temperature, smell, and color of the air we feel and see. However, there are also other aspects that it affects. We call it epigenetics. The air particles, which mostly pass through the respiratory system, can alter the biological composition of living organisms. Air pollutants, mostly ultrafine particles, can quickly pass through biological barriers, causing oxidative damage, interfering with intracellular signaling, neuroimmune and endocrine systems, cellular differentiation and proliferation, DNA transcription and translation, and protein folding, as well as the central nervous system and embryo-fetal tissues during development. Of all the diseases mentioned that could be developed through air pollution, these are only a few of the many effects pertaining to epigenetics.
At the end of the day, any technological progress is undoubtedly a significant part of achieving human advancement. However, we must remember to see its underlying effects that scarred our primary necessity, our air. We stop thinking about how the impact of burning fossil fuels, using air conditioning, cutting trees, smoking, etc. can deteriorate our air, which huge companies and we cause. So, on that note, we can help create a difference by planting trees, moderating air conditioning, smoking less, joining causes that support a clean environment, saving energy, and consuming sustainable products. So now, we urge you to open your eyes, stand up, and take part in creating a clean and breathable world.